Greetings. In today's video we will discuss about a book called Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. After we run through summary and detail by chapter, we will have a look at the key takeaways. And stay with me till the end of video for bonus fun facts. Dare to Lead is a book that focuses on the importance of courageous leadership and the skills needed to lead with vulnerability, empathy, and accountability. Brené Brown argues that these skills are necessary for leaders to create a culture of trust, connection, and innovation within their organizations. The book is divided into 4 main parts, each of which explores a different aspect of courageous leadership. Part 1 explores the foundational skills needed for brave leadership, including vulnerability, trust, and values. Part 2 delves into the importance of empathy in leadership and how leaders can cultivate it within themselves and their teams. Part 3 focuses on the role of accountability in courageous leadership. Brown argues that accountability is essential for building trust and creating a culture of excellence. She provides strategies for holding oneself and others accountable, and for fostering a culture of accountability within the organization. Finally, Part 4 discusses the importance of vulnerability and courage in leadership. Brown argues that leaders must be willing to take risks and be vulnerable in order to create a culture of innovation and growth. She provides tools and strategies for leaders to build their courage and overcome their fears. Throughout the book, Brown provides examples and case studies of leaders who embody these courageous leadership skills. She also includes practical exercises and tools for readers to apply these skills in their own leadership roles. Overall, Dare to Lead is a powerful and practical guide for leaders who want to create a culture of trust, connection, and innovation within their organizations. It emphasizes the importance of vulnerability, empathy, accountability, and courage in leadership, and provides readers with the tools and strategies needed to cultivate these skills. Here is a more detailed summary of each chapter in Dare to Lead by Brené Brown. Part 1. Rumbles with Vulnerability. Chapter 1. What is Dare to Lead? In the opening chapter, Brown defines what she means by daring leadership, and explains the purpose of the book. She introduces the key themes of vulnerability, courage, and empathy that are central to her concept of courageous leadership. Chapter 2. Armored Leadership. In this chapter, Brown explores the concept of armored leadership, which she defines as leadership that is driven by fear, control, and a need for certainty. She explains the negative impact of armored leadership on individuals and organizations and makes the case for why leaders need to be vulnerable in order to create a culture of trust and innovation. Chapter 3. Shame and Empathy. In this chapter, Brown discusses the role of shame and empathy in leadership. She explains how shame can undermine leadership and lead to a culture of fear and blame. She also outlines the importance of empathy in creating a culture of trust and connection. Chapter 4. Brené's Leadership Manifesto. In this chapter, Brown presents her personal manifesto for leadership. She outlines the values and beliefs that guide her leadership philosophy, including the importance of vulnerability, empathy, and courage. Chapter 5. The Myths of Vulnerability. In this chapter, Brown debunks common myths about vulnerability, such as the idea that vulnerability is weakness. She argues that vulnerability is actually a strength that can help leaders build trust, connection, and innovation within their teams and organizations. Chapter 6. The Importance of Trust. In this chapter, Brown explores the critical role of trust in leadership. She explains how trust is built through vulnerability, empathy, and accountability, and provides practical tools and strategies for leaders to build trust within their teams and organizations. Part 2. Living into Our Values. Chapter 7. Braving Trust. In this chapter, Brown introduces the Braving Model, which stands for boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault, confidentiality, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. She explains how leaders can use this model to build and maintain trust with their teams. Chapter 8. Learning to Rise. In this chapter, Brown discusses the importance of resilience in leadership. She explains how leaders can cultivate resilience through practices such as gratitude, self-compassion, and curiosity, and provides practical tools for bouncing back from setbacks and failures. Chapter 9. The Call to Courage. In this chapter, Brown emphasizes the importance of courage in leadership. She explains that courage is not just about taking big risks or making bold decisions, but also about the small, everyday acts of bravery that are required to lead with vulnerability and empathy. Chapter 10. Shame and Accountability. In this chapter, Brown discusses the connection between shame and accountability. She explains how shame can get in the way of holding oneself and others accountable, and provides tools and strategies for leaders to overcome shame and create a culture of accountability within their teams and organizations. Chapter 11. The Disruptive Power of Inclusivity. In this chapter, Brown discusses the importance of inclusivity in leadership. She explains how leaders can create a culture of inclusivity by embracing diversity, practicing empathy, and fostering a sense of belonging within their teams and organizations. Chapter 12. The Sound of the Wild Geese. In the final chapter of Part 2, Brown discusses the importance of collective courage in leadership. She explains how leaders can cultivate a sense of collective courage within their teams and organizations by creating a shared vision, building trust, and fostering a sense of belonging. Part 3. Braving Trust. Chapter 13. Trust and Feedback. In this chapter, Brown discusses the importance of feedback in building trust and creating a culture of excellence within organizations. She provides practical tools and strategies for giving and receiving feedback effectively and with empathy. Chapter 14. The Problem with Problem Solving. In this chapter, Brown explores the limitations of problem solving and the importance of creativity and innovation in leadership. She explains how leaders can cultivate a culture of innovation by encouraging experimentation, embracing failure, and promoting creativity. Chapter 15. The Living Brave Inventory. In this chapter, Brown introduces the Living Brave Inventory, a tool for leaders to assess their own strengths and vulnerabilities in the areas of courage, vulnerability, empathy, and accountability. She provides guidance on how to use the inventory to identify areas for growth and development as a leader. Part 4. Learning to Rise. Chapter 16. The Heart of Daring Leadership. In this chapter, Brown discusses the heart of daring leadership, which she defines as the ability to hold tension and uncertainty while staying true to one's values. She explains how leaders can cultivate this ability by practicing self-awareness, setting boundaries, and embracing vulnerability. Chapter 17. You're going to get your ass kicked. In this chapter, Brown discusses the inevitability of setbacks and failures in leadership. She explains how leaders can build resilience and bounce back from setbacks by practicing self-compassion, seeking support, and learning from failure. Chapter 18. Lead with a Whole Heart. In the final chapter of the book, Brown provides a summary of the key themes and lessons of Dare to Lead. She emphasizes the importance of leading with a whole heart, which she defines as leading with vulnerability, empathy, and courage. She encourages leaders to continue learning and growing in these areas, and to be brave in their leadership every day. Overall, Dare to Lead provides a comprehensive guide for leaders who want to build a culture of trust, connection, and innovation within their organizations. Brown's emphasis on vulnerability, empathy, accountability, and courage provides a powerful framework for leading with authenticity and impact. Some of the key takeaways from Dare to Lead by Brené Brown include: 1. Vulnerability is an essential part of leadership. Brown emphasizes the importance of leaders being willing to show their vulnerabilities, as this helps to build trust and connection within teams and organizations. 2. Empathy is a critical leadership skill. Brown stresses the importance of leaders being able to understand and relate to the experiences of their team members, as this helps to build a culture of trust and connection. 3. Accountability is necessary for building trust. Brown highlights the importance of leaders holding themselves and others accountable in order to build a culture of excellence and trust. 4. Courage is essential for effective leadership. Brown explains that courage is not just about taking big risks or making bold decisions, but also about the small, everyday acts of bravery that are required to lead with vulnerability and empathy. 5. Creativity and innovation are key to success. Brown encourages leaders to embrace creativity, experimentation, and failure in order to foster a culture of innovation and growth. 6. Resilience is critical in the face of setbacks. Brown acknowledges that setbacks and failures are inevitable in leadership, and emphasizes the importance of building resilience and bouncing back from setbacks with self-compassion and support. 7. Self-awareness is essential for effective leadership. Brown stresses the importance of leaders being self-aware and able to recognize their own strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth in order to lead with authenticity and impact. Overall, the book provides a practical and inspiring guide for leaders who want to build a culture of trust, connection, and innovation within their organizations. Bonus: here are a few fun facts about the book and author. Brené Brown is a research professor at the University of Houston, where she holds the Huffington Foundation, Brené Brown Endowed Chair in the Graduate College of Social Work. Brown's TED Talk on vulnerability has been viewed over 50 million times, making it one of the most watched TED Talks of all time. Dare to Lead is Brown's fourth book, following The Gifts of Imperfection, Daring Greatly, and Rising Strong. Brown is also the host of the popular podcast, Unlocking Us, where she interviews a wide range of thought leaders and explores topics related to vulnerability, empathy, and courage. Dare to Lead has been translated into over 30 languages and has been widely praised for its practical and inspiring approach to leadership. Brown's research on vulnerability, shame, and empathy has been featured in numerous media outlets, including The New York Times, The Guardian, and NPR. Brown has also appeared on a variety of TV shows, including Super Soul Sunday, with Oprah Winfrey and The Ellen DeGeneres Show. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you find it useful to develop better you better me. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to check my other videos.